Hi there, Professor Ocean is here. Welcome to this video. This one is about goals. Here I'd like to give you some guidelines on how to set the goals the right way so you can accomplish them faster and in the most efficient way. Then we'll talk about different kinds of goals, and in the end I'll tell you the benefits of setting goals in general. There are plenty of definitions of goals out there, and I picked this one because it's short and concise, and because of that it will be easy for you to remember. And it goes like this. Goals are the end results towards which we direct our efforts. Let me say that again. Goals are the end results towards which we direct our efforts. You may be thinking that goal setting is for the big bosses, for the managers, for the supervisors, but the reality is goals are good for everyone. Let me give you this example. See if you can relate. Maybe you can remember it from your childhood. Think of a kid who wants a cookie from a kitchen cabinet which is up high. Well, getting that cookie requires a bit of a planning, right? First, that kid has to pick up the time when no one is around, so the kid can sneak in and get the cookie. Then there is some technicality involved, right? How to climb up. For that, the kid would need a chair, maybe a table, maybe a little step ladder to get the cookie. And then after all, the kid would have to cover the tracks, right? Clean the crumbs and put everything back where it was. So if you did something like this when you were little, that's a good example of goal setting and actually achieving the goals. So let me give you a few characteristics of goal setting. There are 7 of them altogether, and the first one is that goals should be self-chosen, meaning you have to pick your goals, not somebody else. For example, if your parents want you to do something, it's not your goal, it's their goal. If your manager or boss at work tells you to do something, then it's not your goal. It's the assignment that you should be working on. If I'm giving you a homework, for example, then it's just a homework. It could be one of the steps towards achieving your bigger goal, but the homework by itself is not your goal. It's your assignment. It's your task. It's your homework. Number 2, goals should be moderately challenging. What it means is whenever you choose a goal for whatever area you choose it in, they should take you to the next level. They should take you a little higher, or maybe a lot higher, but they should take you higher. Well, for example, a goal like a desire to become a B student. Well, it's a good goal, but it really depends where you're coming from. If you are a C grade student, then becoming a B is a step up, and it's very much achievable. It's only one level higher. On the other hand, if you're an A student and you're setting yourself a goal of becoming a B student, then it's not challenging. I mean, it's sort of like stepping down. It's slacking. It's not really challenging at all. Number 3, goals should be realistic. They should be accomplishable. For example, if a person weighs, let's say, 500 pounds, and they say, I want to lose 200 pounds by the end of the week, then it's probably not going to happen unless they do some surgery. Another example, let's say you're making $25,000 a year this year, and you're setting yourself a goal of making $250,000 next year. It's a good fantasy, good dream, but it's not a realistic goal, unless you know some magic. But if you do, let me know. I'd like to have the same goal too. Number 4, goals should be measurable and quantifiable. For example, if you have a goal like, I want to do better in school next semester, what is better? How much is better? Or let's say, I want to make more money next year. How much more money? Is it by 5,000, by 15,000, by 10,000? Put a number on it. So in the end, you'll be able to tell either the goal has been accomplished or not. So that's the only reason. Number 5, goals should be specific. Well, the more specific your goals are, the more likely you'll be able to achieve them. You will know exactly where you're going, you will know exactly what your target is, and you will know exactly what you should do to achieve that. Also, on the same note, stay away from the words like try, hope, should. Because when you have a statement like, I'll try to do better in class, even if you don't, your goal will be accomplished, because the goal was not to achieve something, but to try to achieve something. And yes, you did try. You didn't achieve that, but you did try. That's the trap that your mind may be playing on you. Number 6, your goals should be finite. They should have a time limit on them. For example, a statement like, I want to make $10,000 a year more calls for a question, when? Is it going to be next year, or 5 years from now, or 10 years from now? When? That's the healthy question to ask. Or, for example, I want to do better in class. Question is, when? Which semester? Are you talking about this semester, next semester, or maybe 2 semesters from now? Those are the good questions to ask. And number 7, this is probably the most important one, yet the easiest one. Goals should be positive. So whenever you're setting a goal, you should keep in mind something positive to accomplish. For example, a goal that sounds like, oh, I don't want to fail in this class, is not really the best way of setting a goal because, well, to begin with, there are 2 negative words in that statement, and it doesn't really set the point, what would you like to achieve? And we're done with the characteristics of goals. Let's move on to the timing. Now, from the timing perspective, there are 2 types of goals. There are short-term goals and there are long-term goals. Well, there is no really specific border between the two, but you have to realize that depending on the complexity of the goal, every goal might take a different amount of time to accomplish. For example, if you want to start jogging every morning, then it's a short-term goal. To start jogging, you can start it next week, you can start it on a weekend, you can start it tomorrow, you can start it today. But if you want to continue to jog, that's a long-term commitment. So to start is a short-term goal. To continue is a long-term. Same with the family. Let's say if you want to start a family, to start the family, basically it's an overnight process, if you know what I mean. But to continue to keep up, to raise the family, it's a long-term commitment. And let's move on to the next description of goals. This one has to do with the areas of life you're setting your goals in. And there could be different areas. There could be personal goals, there could be financial goals, there could be business-related goals. For the purpose of this class, we're going to distinguish between 2 of them, personal and academic. So when it comes to personal goals, we usually focus on things like personal diet, personal hygiene, exercising, workout, making friends, things like that. Okay. When it comes to academic goals, it's more about what's happening in school. Let's say goals related to completing projects, goals related to attending the class, goals related to setting or achieving certain level of grade in a certain class. Those would be the academic goals. Keep those 2 in mind for the exam, for the test. There will be some questions about that. And to wrap this up, I'd like to give you this list of benefits from having goals, from setting goals. Goals direct our attention to the task at hand, so we're getting less distracted. Goals usually mobilize our efforts in achieving them. And goals increase our persistence. And a little side note over here, guys. Goals should be flexible. They should be dynamic. You should change and adjust your goals according to the situation around you. Because, you see, we're living in a time when everything is changing so quickly, including economy, technology, relationships, business. Everything is so dynamic that if you stay stubborn and rigid with your goals, then it's not going to be as healthy. So adjust them according to the situation around you. And finally, before you go, guys, here is a little assignment for you, something to bring it into the class. Grab a piece of paper and a pen and write down 5 goals for today, including personal and business and academic, whatever they are. 5 goals for today. If you're watching this at night, then maybe 5 goals for tomorrow. Also, underneath that, write down 10 short-term goals. 5 personal, 5 academic. And then write down another 10 goals. Those would be long-term goals. Also, 5 personal, 5 academic. Right? Bring it in, so I'll take a look at it and I'll give you my feedback. And that's all for this video, guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Actually, I much rather see you in the class, and if not, then you will see me in the next video. Take care.